Welcome or welcome back to my channel, Bairn and a Backpack. I'm Cara and today I'm going to be sharing our top 5 Play-Doh activities which are a real hit with my 21-month-old toddler, Ben. I'm going to be sharing with you what we do using things that we have around the house or things that we collect from nature. We don't actually have any Play-Doh specific toys. We also tend to make our Play-Doh, and I'm going to start today by showing you our favourite recipe that really works for us, and the great thing is that Ben can get involved in making the Play-Doh too. So, first things first, we need to make the Play-Doh. We're making Play-Doh today? Yeah, okay, now here is the big pot, okay? The first thing we need to do is, if you can hold this for me, we're going to use 2 cups of flour, okay? Next then, we need our 2 cups of water, so they're in here in this big jug. Can we pour together? It's Play-Doh. We need to give it a big mix. We need 4 spoons of this, okay? 4 spoons, ready? Four. 2 tablespoons of oil, okay? You want to pour that in as well? This is my go-to Play-Doh recipe, and it has been since Ben was pretty small, and that is because it's completely edible. So if he does put some in his mouth, you know, he doesn't really do that very much now, but he certainly did when he was a bit younger. It's not the end of the world. And then you just have to heat it up at a really low heat until it starts to come together like a dough, and I have to say it's a little bit of an arm workout. Once the Play-Doh has been cooked, it looks like this. I'm going to add some colour to around half of it, but I'm going to wait till it cools down before I do that. So you can add food colouring to the Play-Doh if you want. I actually quite like it natural, so normally I keep a part of it natural and add food colouring to another part. When you're mixing the food colouring in, it does kind of dye your hands, so just be prepared for that. My first super easy suggestion is using Play-Doh for small world play. This is what it looks like when I've set it all up. Now I've taken some of Ben's animals, which all work for kind of African savannah theme, and I've rolled out a very, very thin layer of the Play-Doh on the mat. Now the really cool thing about using the Play-Doh for this is that it leaves the tracks of the animals. So we have these really awesome schleiche animals, and they have accurate footprints. So the footprints that are left behind by the animals are really what they look like in real life. I've also just attached the trees using some balls of Play-Doh, but then we can have the giraffes eating them, and it's a really, really nice play setup.
Printing.
Are you printing?
Ja. Animals.
Animals.
Tattoo.
Sieht man seine kleinen Zehen? Oh ja, ein Fußabdruck. Rechts sind Bäume, links sind Bäume und dazwischen Zwischenräume. Babygiraffe ist auch Blätter.
Ja. Hier. Tunnel.
Ein Tunnel?
Ja.
Wo kommt denn aber der Tunnel her?
Tunnel.
Oh, between the trees. Ah. So Ben has been at this activity this morning for about an hour. He has absolutely loved it, but we have had to roll the Play-Doh out a few times because, as you can imagine, it started to look like there had been a stampede on the savannah because there were so many prints. But we just rolled it out again and he could start again. This activity is so versatile. Sometimes we colour it green and we make it a farm, so we've got the fields and we put sticks around the outside as fences. You can colour it blue and use it as water for his ducks, for example. It costs also next to nothing to make. It's genuinely just the colour, the cost of the flour and the other ingredients for the Play-Doh. And apart from that, you can just be inventive with other things you have around the house or things from nature to create the scenes that you want to create. If you're up for some mess, these can also be so easily used as nature paintbrushes. And now, as I was tidying up, Ben has just decided that we need to get head prints of the animals and not just footprints.
Foot, foot. Head, 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 head.
My next activity idea is to use real baking equipment to make some Play-Doh biscuits and cakes. So I've put out a muffin tray with some cupcake cases and made a few little example cakes. Then I've got some birthday candles, some biscuit cutters, a rolling pin, and I've rolled out part of the dough for him as a little starter as well. And then I've got this biscuit stamper as well that says homemade on it, which I know he'll really, really love to try out, and a little cake smoother. Push down so hard.
Feuer, Feuer, Feuer. Mann.
Oh, jetzt.
Alter.
Ein Reiter, ja, da hast du recht.
Ben is just so into Play-Doh activities at the moment. He's actually been asking all morning for Play-Doh before we set this activity up for him. I always think it's really interesting how he decides to play with everything that's there, but we do just let him play with it as he wants to play with it. And if we do have the time to sit down with him and really engage with him in this type of play, I find that it's a really great way to build vocabulary. And my next Play-Doh activity is nature play. For this activity, I have 2 bowls here just filled with random things that we've collected on some of our woodland walks and things that I think will make really cool prints. The idea is that Ben can, for example, stick the sticks into the Play-Doh to make like a little hedgehog, or he can roll it out and make really cool prints in the Play-Doh.
Height, feather, feather. Woof, woof.
Oh, they're making a cool pattern.
Boat,
A boat?
whoosh,
A flying boat?
stick,
With a stick in it. Is that the mast? Anything else in it?
stick,
Another stick. Whoa.
woof,
Both the sticks, yeah.
stick.
Another stick.
Yeah. Oh.
All the sticks. This activity has entertained Ben for 45 minutes plus. He has absolutely loved just sticking everything into the Play-Doh, building boats, castles, just using all of the different things that were on the table and available to him. It's also genuinely such an easy one to set up. I just wanted to mention that we do have some hazelnuts, and that's because Ben found them when we were on our walk and was so excited, especially because he loves the idea of nuts being eaten by squirrels and mice. So he really wanted to bring them home, and we do let him play with them, but definitely under supervision. We're making sure they're going nowhere near his mouth. In general, he is really good at not putting things in his mouth, so we're pretty happy for him to play with them under supervision. And my next activity is to use Play-Doh as play food. To set this activity up, I've already made some of Ben's favourite food. So here I've made him a little pizza, and it's got the wooden toppings from his play food. I've also set up a little chopping board with a little carrot and put some of his play plates out. He absolutely loves pretending to cook potatoes, so I've made some potatoes and put them in his little play pot, and I have a little basket full of his play utensils.
Oh. No. Tap, 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 tap.
Cut it up.
Papa. Mich, mich. Mich. Bell. Bell. Pizza. 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 Pizza.
Kannst du sie durchschneiden? Paar dicke Schupfnudeln.
Okay. Okay.
Of course, Daddy made a pretzel. We've actually sat down, all three of us, this morning at the table to play together. It's been a really nice family activity, and Ben has been engaged for around an hour and a half doing this activity. In general, if you don't have the play versions of the pots and pans, absolutely use real ones. In fact, in some ways that's even more effective. My next activity is household item printing. This is the easiest of all the activities to set up, and it lends itself really well to independent free play. It's also great to set up different forms of matching activities, and you'll see us do those with Ben too. So I've filled a basket here with some of Ben's toys and some household items that I think will make really interesting prints when they're printed on the Play-Doh. I've started just by rolling some of it out for him to make it a little bit easier.
Meow, meow. Duck. Cool.
Ja.
Schön. Gabel.
Die Gabel, wo kommt die hin?
Da.
Da.
Cool.
Und was hat den Abdruck hier gemacht? Wo kommt der Abdruck her? Kommt die von der Gabel, von dem Schlüssel oder von dem Ring?
Ring.
Von dem Ring?
Ja.
Dann lege ich mal dazu.
So.
Aha.
Huhu. Hammer.
Genau, das war der Hammer.
Ja.
Was sind die zwei? Woher kommt das?
Auto.
Vom Auto, richtig, genau.
Fluss.
Mhm. Genau, die Mama sagt Wheels, Papa sagt Reifen. Und der letzte?
Turm.
Vom Turm, genau. Den Turm bauen wir mit dem Bauklotz. Oh.
I hope this video has shown you that you don't need any specific Play-Doh toys in order to really effectively play with Play-Doh. There's two things I quickly want to mention, and that's that this Play-Doh keeps really well for around 1 or 2 months as long as you keep it in something airtight. So we normally put it inside a sandwich bag and then put that inside a sealable airtight container, and yet lasts for around 1 or 2 months depending on how often it's played with. Also, if it does get into the carpet, it's actually really easy to just hoover or brush up once it's dried, so it doesn't make a huge mess either. And the second thing I want to mention is that we have this reusable tablecloth that we put on the table whenever we're doing arts and crafts or Play-Doh activities, and it works really well with Play-Doh and cutters to make sure he's not damaging the table, and I would really recommend just getting one of these cheap washable tablecloths because we use it on a daily basis to protect our different surfaces. Thank you so much for watching today's video. If you have enjoyed it, please remember to give it a thumbs up, and if you're not already a subscriber, please think about subscribing for lots more toddler activity videos because I make them every week. Thanks again for watching, and I hope to see you again in my next video. Bye!